So, good evening, everybody. Welcome in Satsang tonight. Perhaps you have heard the latest policies and regulations here in the Netherlands, and what I have understood is that from the 1st of July, meetings up to 100 people are allowed, but still they have to take social distancing. But for us it means that we can have a Guru Purnima, and we have to find out how we do that with social distancing, but most probably we are going to use both rooms, and perhaps we can also be outside a lot when the weather is fine. And we also will find out if we can be already a couple of days earlier there for some Vipassana days. So we keep you updated. And also this month, Tara and I still plan to come to the Czech Republic, and today we filled out some forms in order to get tested, because that's required for the Czech Republic. And most likely we will be there in the end of this month. Okay, let's go to Selina and Leonard.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
All the way from Krimpen aan de Lek.
So,
Downtown.
we just start. Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho Shiva Raja Maheshwara Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho 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 Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva Raja Maheshwara Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho Shiva Raja Maheshwara Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho 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 Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho 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 Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva Raja Maheshwara, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shambho, Shambho, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shambho, Shambho, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva Raja Maheshwara, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva Raja Maheshwara, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shambho, Shambho, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shambho, Shambho, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shambho, Shambho, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shambho, Shambho, Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shambho. Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shambho. Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. 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 Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva Raja Maheshwara. Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva Raja Maheshwara. Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. 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 Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. 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 Jaya Shankara Shiva Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho. Shiva 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 Shambho.
So thank you so much for this Shiva song. Yeah, so Satsang is all about embodying Shiva. And Shiva is the self that can't be seen, the self that can't be understood, can't be analyzed, yeah, but it can be lived. So satsang is always about you, and it's always about life. There's no abstraction in it. And this is all about embodying the truth. So here with us, the spiritual realm and the practical, actual realm are undivided. So it's so important to embody this and to live this And that means, for instance, to be very practical, if your being is awake, if the self is awake, you can't be scared. And there's not even an I that is considering whether people like you or not. You are just straightforward, sharing without any censorship who you are. And so if this, what you have been hearing the last weeks or the last years, if that is not yet embodied, it means it hasn't gone deep enough yet. This is really something to enter in all your cells, in your being, in your heart, in your presence, and beyond. Spirituality is life. And being deeply, deeply rooted in life, in existence, in consciousness, with all the side effects that it gives, like being fearless, as I mentioned, but also being love itself, being playful. That's the outcome, the natural effect of being alive and one with existence. So it's not about carrying certain teachings around in your head, agreeing, liking things or not. It has nothing to do with all these things. It has nothing to do with Buddhism or Advaita or Zen or Sufism. It's nothing to do with holy books. It has to do with you and existence. And whatever there apparently might be in between you and existence, okay, we can remove that. Maybe you have attachment there. Maybe there's an identity. Maybe there's cultural stuff. And you came here without cultural stuff. You came here without opinions and religions and all the other ideas. You came without. Yeah. And satsang helps you to go back into what you have ever been. And again, not in a virtual way, but really in an existential way. I just recall something that's actually also, it comes in the movie of Himmel über Berlin, where also the angels, they are kind of jealous to men, to mankind, because they are in that spaciousness, they are in that openness, but they miss incredibly the body and the joy that it gives when the openness or consciousness is being integrated in the body. And they missed it. And this morning, someone, it was Jana, she wrote me that in the morning, she had a dream where an exchange was taking place to her grandmother and her. And Jana, was giving her sensual feelings, her sensual energy, the joy that it gives, the flow that it brings in the body. She shared it with Grandma. And Grandma shared her spaciousness, her vastness. And they were exchanging this. They were dancing this energy. And this is exactly what these meetings are all about. I am not a guy who wants you to be spiritual. I'm also not what sometimes people consider a spiritual teacher or so. If there's any misunderstanding about that, I really want to make that clear, and I do that about every month, but I have nothing to do with what you call teachers, spiritual gurus, and these people. They might be wonderful, that's very possible, but that's not where I am. Yeah, I'm free from any role, and I love to be embodied. I love to bring that spiritual realm, which is very intimate. That's not somewhere far away. It's not somehow high in the sky. In me, that's very down to earth. And in me, the sensuous and that vastness are both together. It's being lived. It's rooted in the earth. It's complete. So I really don't want that people escape in what I call the spiritual realm, where you say that everything is illusion, for instance. These people don't have joy. These people do not experience unconditional love. They have something against the body. They have something against the earth. And my perspective is that everything is divine. There is no division between the body and the spirit, and there is no division between the earth and the universal principle. Not from any teaching or from any book. That's simply what I perceive everywhere, what I am. Yeah, and this is really my wish, that you all will have such a joy to exist. It's such a privilege to have this birth where you can embody your spirit. Your spirit is there, the body is there, but now I want them to merge. And really, as soon as the spirit starts merging with the body comes into joy, into freedom, into bliss. And as soon as the body merges with the spirit, then also the spirit matures and is even able to expand more and more and more. So welcome in Satsang, and I love to give you some space and an opportunity to share what wants to be shared. And sharing is important. So many people, they are closed like an oyster, and that doesn't nourish them. It's all repressed energies, fear, keeps you tensed. So you can here release yourself from burdens in order to experience your heart. And expressing yourself is also part of life. This is more, if you want to go into any direction, and when it is not spiritual, as I say, then it is artistic. And this is really the path of an artist that is inspired and lives in the spirit, in the creative energy, and yet it is here, embodied in earthy energy, in practicality. And I'm very glad that also Shantimai has inspired me to apply whatever you hear in the actuality of life, to go far beyond teachings, go far beyond spirituality. So come down to earth and expand. And if your silence is complete, it is a real silence, wonderful. Remain like that. Be like that. But if your silence is a stiffness, it's filled with fears, censorship, then I just invite you, get rid of your burden.
Hello, Naropa.
Hey, Martin.
Hi. I'm very glad that you talk like this from the beginning about the body and being in the body. It's a wonderful start for me for the satsang, and I'm really coming to it, and I am starting to understand. These last days, I was happy in the body, and I had quite wonderful time. And from the last weeks, which I had some cleansing processes in the body and settling down and in the body, as you helped me, I enjoy much more the body and the life. It's like on the verge of acceptance of the life, and or like there is an acceptance of the life and there is an acceptance in the body. Just something really changed in me that I would like to express. And thanks for this too.
Okay.
Okay,
Wonderful, Martin. Thank you. And I really want even you to move deeper than acceptance of the body. You know, you don't have to accept the body because the body is there. The body does not need any acceptance, nor your mind or anything else. Acceptance is not needed for things that are already here. You know, you don't have to accept your birth. Existence has already accepted you because you have been born and you are here. And this body has been given to you. So there's no need to accept that body. But okay, you can stop denying it, or you can stop being against it. Because the body is very fundamental. And of course, it's not the end of the story, but it is a very good beginning. Hardly anyone is embodied. People are born, they have a body. Some people, they even think they are a body. But embodiment is something else. One who is embodied is always here, Martin. And that's a very strong issue, being here. It's a joy to be here. If you're really here, it is a joy. It's not something that I say you should be joyful when you are here. No, being here and being joyful is the same. And then we can travel from here to here. And we can travel from here to nowhere. And there's so much stored in our body. There is so much love in our body. There is so much energy in our body, and lots of these energies are frozen. And it's wonderful to wake it up. Waking up means everything wakes up. Everything that has been repressed wakes up. Can be your anger, can be your sexual energy, can be your divine energy, can be your creative energy, can be your destructive energy. And so We don't live yet because we are afraid for what is stored in us. That's why people have become mediocre, because if you are alive, then you are alive to everything inside of you, and you are sensitive to everything that's around you. But really, accepting is not needed. It is simply here. Body is here. And then we can explore more. What else is here?
I would like to also say that maybe it would be better to tell that there was a joy to be in the body. It would better describe my last days, that it was a joy to be here. It was a joy to be in the life. It was a joy to be in the physical body. I was enjoying the time here. It was quite very new experience from all the past years I had. So this, as you say, much closer describes my feelings, like that I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually you already said that. Thank you for telling that once more. I've heard you saying that. And that is a very specific quality. When we are one with, let's say, the earth principle, there is a wonderful joy taking place in us. A very fundamental joy. You can't say it has a certain reason or so. It is just the joy that we see in kids, in animals, and in all the newborns. That's very strong, that kind of joy. And of course, that's not the end of our journey. The joy from the earth, and for instance, the ananda, the bliss from the unity with that universal principle, they have very different qualities. But I tell you, they are both wonderful. And they can be both there. So thank you, thank you. It's not about accepting, really enjoy it. It is a joy. When one is embodied, there is joy. When one is disembodied, it's not. You dissociate, you are looking for something, you want to get rid of something. There's no joy in that. Yeah, so thank you, Martin. Hello, Mart.
Hey, my heart is pounding, so I'm checking in what needs to be shared. My sense is that a couple of days ago, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, very clear.
Okay. I met up with a friend, and she lives in a homeless shelter. And when I met her on the street, she was sitting there on the ground with begging. And I have a tendency to play some savior role where I still get the sense that I really want to help a person that is like really struggling. So she has like strong habits to smoke a lot of pot and be addicted, and then I'm there and like wanting to help her out and buy ice cream and all these things. I'm just noticing for myself this pattern where I just keep attracting these kind of relationships, and I would like to clear that and be able to move in more healthy relationships. And I'm just wondering, like, is there some pain inside of me that is preventing me from that I don't get lost in those kind of relationships or interactions where I still try too hard to help or something like that. So yeah, some clarity on that would be helpful.
Okay, let's have a look together.
Yeah.
At that, Mart. Yeah. You know, it's not so much about the actions, what you are doing, that you give money or you care for the homeless, as you described, this lady, but it is more that you look at what motivates you to do it. And that's something you have to discover yourself. It can come from your heart that you simply love it, but it can also be something else. You might feel guilty about your own condition compared to hers, or there are so many other possibilities. So the actions in itself actually don't say so much. You have to look what motivates you. So why are you doing these things?
To perhaps to get attention, or a sense of like the sense of, oh, I'm not in a relationship right now, and perhaps still this idea that, oh, once I'm find this person that's the right one, then it's complete, or something like that. So it's maybe still just there's also playfulness. Like I also just enjoy spending time with her and eating the ice cream. So that's all fun too. Like it's not all bad or something. It's just like yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Because even actions can come from you without any motivation.
Mm.
That there is nothing behind it. You give it, or as you actually say, you enjoy it. But not with, look at me, I'm such a wonderful helper. Or look how great I am, I finance her smoking pot.
Like that. No, but I noticed then the day after I was listening to the satsang on Saturday as well, and like she I can met her at the Krishna temple. So there's a Krishna temple here, and she was living there in the forest. And from the age of 5, she thinks she's a sadhu. So she doesn't want to work. She hasn't worked for 15 years, and for some reason, like I feel a strong connection with her. But just this weird thing where she just has, and then she was at the temple, and then she was also sexually abused by the priests in the temple there. And it just makes me really sad too. And like she came over one time to my place, and just like all her anger came out towards men, and I was just sitting there like, whoa, that's a lot. And so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really a lot. So you see, if you start to inquire in anything or in any situation, you come to know more and more, and you see what made her like this. And you can also apply that upon yourself if you find certain tendencies in you. Wow, what made you like this? So you look a little deeper in that. And actually, what I introduced here in the first 10 minutes would be very good nectar for her, better than the smoking of pot, because that's really, there's pain in her. She's not grounded at all. Being a sadhu is just an idea, a very old idea. She didn't hear about the, the sadhus from the new age that are living now, that might have families, that are enjoying also the body pleasures, and that are not repressed from where perhaps the priest came that abused her.
Yeah.
But the point is, and that's not only for her, that is actually from perhaps all the people, is that it is so terribly difficult for people to enter themselves, to open themselves to whatever is here. That was that first step. And to come down in the body, to experience the hatred that she now feels towards men, or maybe also towards herself.
Can I quickly share something else too?
Yeah, of course, you can share anything,
Okay.
but
So I've also been looking into something called the rainbow body. In Tibetan Buddhism, they talk also about the rainbow body. And there's this potentiality for the body to dissolve into light and move out. And I was wondering, like, is this something that in this lifetime is possible too for for us to be able to.
Yeah, let's not just move like a squirrel to go from one tree to the other. Uh, because if you speak about the rainbow body and we just speak about someone who needs to be grounded and who needs to be coming here down to earth, facing whatever needs to be faced, and not hanging out in Krishna consciousness, or not hanging out in being high from smoking and stuff like that. Yeah, that is about what you describe, the opposite of a rainbow body. Yeah, it has nothing to do with it. Yeah, so first this really needs to be settled. Because you also wanted to know, Mart, why you feel attracted to people like her. And maybe you have simply compassion, or you recognize something of that in you. I don't know. This is something you have to inquire to. And then that rainbow body is something so completely different from this.
I know.
So it's just like randomly you come up with something.
Well, no, this was something that for a couple of days was on my mind too, and I wasn't sure what needed to be shared, because like you said, when I met with her and I told her like wake up, and then she asked me what do I need to do, and I say also like pray hard, like then also like ask, like genuinely from your heart ask from existence like for support, that you truly want to wake up.
Yeah, but you also have to do something yourself. It's not just praying or so. For instance, she can stop smoking, she can quit the idea to be a sadhu, and she can start healing her psychological pain. Yeah. Coming down to the body, coming down to earth, to start with. And then maybe, who knows, when that is settled, and that's a lot, because hardly anyone is here, and almost everyone has a lot of dissociation. And that's because we are not incarnated yet. And so from not even being here, not even being incarnated, then just moving into the wonderful concept of a rainbow body or a light body, pure light. That's what we all are. We are pure essence, pure light. That's what we truly are. And when the light is on, in this pureness, you are love, you are ecstatic, you are also very common, you are here. And then your multi-dimensionality, let's say all the colors of the rainbow, are alive. They are really alive. And it's even, from that Tibetan tradition you speak of, it is like that. If your rainbow body has become completed and is alive, after passing, your physical body can't be found. So that's all possible. There's so much possible here that is even not easy to comprehend by our mind. But it makes no sense, actually, to think about it. Because by thinking, it doesn't become alive. Also not the first color. It might come alive, but not by thinking about it. It's wonderful to think and imagine that it is possible. But the work to make this happen is completely different. And this is what we need to apply, the work. Quite a dirty word. And the word is go inside, whatever you meet there. Observe it, but that's not enough. Also enter it. And allow that energy that is frozen there to come alive, to transform. And then your pain is transformed into compassion. So compassion is not, for instance, an idea and we start to live about it and we say, okay, let's give some money or some ice cream to a beggar. That is actually, that is no compassion. It could be, but I said most of the time that's not the inner motivation why we do things like that. Often it is also exciting or you are curious or whatever. There are other motivations in it. But compassion actually starts to happen to you when you transform your pain. And then you see that there's also so much pain in others, and you know kind of the key because you have applied it. You have transformed your pain, and now your pain is bliss, or is compassion, or is love. But it is not anymore something that you impose upon yourself. Actually, when you act from that, you don't feel yourself so great. You just do it, it just happens. It's nothing special. Someone suffers and your heart wants to help. But that help is often not in the way that people want it to be. Yeah, if you tell this lady, hey, I can help you to get a rainbow body, let's start at step number 1, then she might not accept that. She said, no, I am already a sadhu. I would say, no, she's not a sadhu. She is playing a sadhu. Yeah, a sadhu is really already touching or already breathing universal consciousness. Yeah, is already not anymore deluded by ideas about being a sadhu. That's all gone. That's not there. So also in India, there are many people that are they behave and dress like a sadhu, but it's rare to find one in 100. They simply have the uniform. But a sadhu is not like that. A sadhu is one who deeply inquires into existence and sinks deeper and deeper into existence and lives for that. And of course, traditionally, you wear certain colors, you leave your home, and so forth. But you can all do that internally. You don't have to live in a forest. There's no freedom in that. If she would live in the forest, and she could also live with people, with herself, without dope, she could also work, but her heart wants to be there in the forest. So it's not generated by pain. That's something else. Then it's natural. But in her, there's a deep pain that disables her, actually. She's a disabled one. So if you want to help her, you are not giving her what she wants, but you give your genuine heart and you tell her, hey, don't befool me, transform your pain. That's compassion, that's help. Okay, Mart.
Thank you.
All right. Good to see you.
You too.
Barbara?
Ja, Barbara.
Even kijken hoe ze schrijft.
B-O. Yeah. Are you there, Barbara?
Yeah.
Yes. Hi.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to ask about cooperation with the unreliable mind. And better word for me in last days is collaboration with it, because somehow and sometimes it seems to be for me impossible to cooperate with this mind, because it can make me think anything. It can make me feel anything. And I'm looking for new trust. Yes. Because last time when we spoke together, you told me that I have lifetime to looking for myself, and I was very, very calm with this, and it really made things easier. But yesterday, kind of crisis came. The feel of madness was really close to me, and I don't know if I have a lifetime to collaborate with this mind.
Okay, let's have a look there, Barbara. Yeah. So I actually prefer, that's what I tell people, is that they absolutely don't follow the mind. Or if there is any distrust in you, and it is there, at least distrust that mind. Doubt the mind. People are full of doubts, but they direct it to wrong things. Better direct it to that mind. That mind, all kinds of words come from there, ideas come from there. Connected with that are all kinds of feelings, like distrust. Yeah, and to collaborate, you still give it more attention than it needs. You know, I don't say fight the mind. I rather would say befriend with the mind. So it is something like, let's say, tolerate it. It says all kinds of things, sometimes funny things, sometimes wise things, but most of the time we all know it's absolutely crap what it says. And you don't have to be afraid to get mad, because it is already the fact. The madness is already there. Sometimes when people would write down 15 minutes, whatever comes up in their mind, and after they read it, or you give it to someone else, you pass it on and they read it, madness. It has no consistency, it has no truth in it. It just can say things that make absolutely no sense. Oh, we call that nonsense. And I say, your whole life, you cannot look for it. I would never say that. Be in the presence. That's what I'm saying. Be in existential reality. That's what I'm saying. And that's exactly not where the mind moves. That is so virtual, that is so conditioned, it's the conditioned mind. It is so influenced, Barbara, by your past, by your culture, and by so many other things. It's not original, but you forgot something that's so essential. And that's your heart, that's your being. And actually, I say, don't give that much attention to the mind, but give all your attention to presence and to your being. And even, it's true, there are people their whole life directing their energy, giving attention to I am. And that is a wonderful life. Many artists have been doing that. People like, I don't know if you know them, Hermann Hesse has been always inquiring like this. And that made their life richer and richer. More and more dimensions opened up. And even being on the way of presence is wonderful. That's so wonderful. And I would say even this journey never ends. There is not a place or a moment that you say everything is accomplished. Now I'm completely finished, I'm a Buddha, I'm awake. That's now nothing is possible anymore. That's not my perception of existence. Yeah. So it's so noble. I myself don't know anything more noble than self-inquiry, meditation, entering deeper and deeper into the intensity of existence. And it's so incredible, the jewels that are here, and whatever comes from the mind, when it is not yet rooted in this reality, actually I easily can say that's crap. But whenever the mind is linked with reality, with the beingness, then suddenly what sprouts from the mind is wonderful. It's original. It's art, it's creative. And something in us, you have that strong, I can see and feel that, and also from former exchanges with you, Barbara, that something has been driven you away from this simple here-ness. And the way back, you might need more support. It's not something like you can do that easily yourself. You need to be so talented if you can apply that upon yourself. And why should you? Why should you? You know, there's support. So it's wise to find support and to use the support, to be with people who also direct the energy to the truth of their heart. Also with people who are not anymore much interested in the formations of thoughts. You know, if you know the real world of your being, this whole mind thing is so absolutely boring. And it really destroys you, because it creates hell. Actually, this is hell. The mind that tells you the whole day all kinds of crap, and you believe it. So people that live in a mind that are really conditioned there, they are the followers. They are the sheep. They have mind, a confused mind, as their guru. So amazed. And you know, everyone knows it is nonsense. And still, as an addict, you follow it again and again, the whole day. You think that certain people think about you in a certain way. You think that you have to behave in a certain way. You think that people expect you to be in a certain way. And you expect others to do this and that. That's already madness, Barbara. Don't be afraid that you get mad. You are it. This is madness. And what is not madness, that is so much closer. The mind is a box of strangers. What you are is familiar. What you are is intimate here. So it will make you warm. Warm with existence, warm with life. And you don't think about yourself anymore, but you are yourself. You don't think about others, but you experience others. And that's just a shift. Not a big shift. This one is so close. This is what you meant to be. And that other is what you have become by the influences and powers of others. Of a whole society. Society is mad. Because the mind is mad. As it is now. Sometimes there are brilliant things, very wonderful things coming from the mind. And that's when it is rooted in reality. So find out what is the source of mind. And Buddha says it is the present mind. Buddha is just another word for being awake. The present mind is the Buddha mind. And there you start. We don't finish there. Here you start. And this is not something like, okay, I've heard it, so thank you. No, this is something you apply constantly. Every time you remind and remember yourself to be here. And the I am reminder is not something you say in your head, but you experience here, through the body, beyond the body. I am is not a thought. Presence is not a thought. We can say it is an experience, but it is a total experience. It is what makes actually all experience possible. It is the root of any experience. And that is dedication, to dedicate your life to that. And not to dedicate your life to the mind. It's hell, Barbara, it's really hell. So come down in your body, come down to earth, come here in reality, and then you will blossom. Anything from you?
I don't know.
No. Do you recognize this? And not with your mind. Do you recognize this with your heart?
It's like I can't use any words.
Okay.
Words don't come to mind.
No, but that's fine. I see your tears. Yeah. This is what your heart wants. This is not what Naropa wants or anyone else. This is really what your heart wants. And your heart is simply calling you back. Come here. Stay here with me. Unite.
I'm just wondering maybe about the support. I'm asking myself who or what can support me the best.
Yeah, yeah. Everything supports you. That's the joke of it. Yeah, yeah, really, really. Because nature supports you. And what is nature? Nature is not just some greenery here and there. Nature is so much. You find it in humans, you find it in animals, in plants, in rocks. Nature is supporting this. How does it support this? Everything in nature is itself. A rock is a rock, is a rock is a rock. The tree is itself. The tree has no thinking mind that wants something. Whatever happens to the tree, it surrenders to it. Everything is like that. And you and me are not different from that. We too are nature. There are forces, universal forces that support us. But you don't notice them when you are too much occupied with yourself. And we're speaking about that, Barbara. Well, what you are doing is you occupy yourself with thinking. Thinking. Existence wants you to be, and existence wants you to live. And yet, next one, existence even wants you to love. To go beyond your small self. Existence wants to manifest through you. But when there is too much noise, emotional noise, mental noise, religious noise, you don't hear it. But the support is there all the time. And perhaps you feel miserable or like yesterday, almost mad. It's an incredible support. Existence tells you, you are on the wrong track there. If you follow that track, you get even more crazy. So go to follow another track. And if you genuinely ask yourself which track, you might hear all the answers from your being. If you are not able to listen to your being because mind is too strong, then you come to people that have done the job already, that have liberated themselves from their conditioned mindset, and you simply sit in their presence for a couple of years, you link your heart to them, and your energies start changing, and the shift starts happening gradually or suddenly. But it is dedication. It's not that you do that an hour a day or so. You live for that. So I don't see where you are not supported. That's how I look at it. Even your pain is supporting it. Even your confusion is supporting this. Everything supports this. And this is actually quite something that we speak here about ourselves or about man, and that in spite of all the support, we don't hear the divine message. We don't hear the divine melody. Because we are occupied. We listen to the voices in our head, and these voices are our parents' voices, our cultural voices, our religious voices, our political voices. So many of them. Because for a long time it's a long chain, a long mala of confused people. Parents were confused, their parents were confused. Some were Christians confused, some were communists confused. All kinds of confusions, diseases. So, cleaning yourself from the garbage. And perhaps it was given to you, I really love to say it, with the good intentions. But let's be practical and say, does it work? Truth is what works. It's not what you agree upon or what you think about it. It's really so practical. And masters like Krishna or Osho were so practical. They're really always, truth is what works. You can do the most craziest, outrageous things. And that's what masters do, not the saints. The saints do what you want. Masters do everything to wake you up. They don't even want to be agreed by you, by your confusion, by your mindset. If your mindset would agree with me, I know I'm on the wrong path. No, I wish your heart hears this, absorbs this. Then there is a chance that your heart is your instrument that can hear existence, that can hear the divine melody, that can hear the truth of your being, of existence. So I don't speak to your mind. I don't care about your mind. It's not even yours. But I speak or even seduce your heart. So thank you for bringing this in, Barbara.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, so welcome. Yeah.
Niels.
Hey, Niels.
Hey. Yeah, so thanks for seducing my heart in the first place. I think we met about a year ago, and yeah, I think quite some things have changed. And I have to say, it's quite excited to making contact with you on this way. Normally in the room it's quite okay, but now I feel a lot of anxiety. I don't know why, but so that's also a good reason to do it, because the last few satsangs I was sort of doubting to share and to become in contact. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And so what I would like to share, that I very subtle feel some sort of change happening, and yeah, it's so hard to explain. It's really subtle, but it's also really strange or strong, and well, I really feel that I have to sort of continue, that it's a good direction for this going. And also when I look back, like from the past few years, what I've been through, it's really some good developments. And the question arises, like, what is exactly happening? Because it's so hard to sort of grasp, and so hard to understand in some way. But that's why I'm all the time not sort of sharing, because it's not really, in the other hand, it's not really a question, because I'm just enjoying so much listening and being here. But still there's some interest in what is happening.
Yeah.
So
that
yeah.
is, yeah, that is the mind.
So what is
That's
different from a couple of years ago? So like there is something different, but
Yeah.
what is it?
Yeah, and why do you want to know that actually? Is that just curiosity?
Yeah, it's curiosity. Also because maybe I want to talk about it with people, and maybe to share it, because it feels good, and yeah.
But Niels, you really share this already, huh? When this energy is changing in you, huh? And it is very subtle, as you said. That energy is being perceived by other people, huh? And because we are very sensitive beings. Human beings are very sensitive, and maybe not in our mind, but in our being, we perceive so much more of the subtle energies than we actually admit. Huh? But when you also meet certain people, it's much more than what you see or what you hear. There's something else too that affects you in relating together. Huh? So there are certain things taking place, happening in you, and maybe you can speak about it, share about it. And everything what you say about your experience is not really your experience itself. Yeah? So whatever you are, actually you cannot know what you are or who you are. You can't understand it, but you can be it. And if you start speaking about it, then you always have a certain feeling that you might come close, you might be skillful in it, but still, it's not that yet. But there is a possibility, and that's wonderful, Niels. You can speak from it. You can live from it. And actually, every song that comes out of it, or every gesture that comes out of it, contains the energy of the subtle energies. And when the subtle energies are deeply connected to the truth of your being, and there's no disturbance, there are no distractions, there are no delusions anymore there, then also it is so clear. This is actually called charisma. When charisma is the real charisma, comes from your being, everyone sees it. It's not like you learn how to speak in a charismatic way. No, it's just when the being speaks, then your words or your gestures get a certain authority. People hear it in the energy. If you just have read a book, or you repeat someone, or it comes from you. And when it comes from you, it has always a unique quality. When it is imitated, it has no Shakti, it has no power. It has no presence. Everyone can hear. It just borrowed this. Yeah. So it shares itself all the time. Yeah. And really, it's a habit to bring everything to the mind. Like even love. People, they experience love and then they want to speak about it. And to understand love. You cannot understand life, you cannot understand love, you cannot understand the depths of meditation. I would say, Niels, whatever is really essential, you cannot understand. And yet, so you give it up. To understand it, why should you bring it to the faculty of the mind when you experience it much deeper right now and here? It doesn't need an explanation or an understanding. It is itself, and it speaks from itself. It's just an old habit. And it is a very cultural habit. This is very habitual here. Now we say that already a couple of centuries, the mind is the most important faculty. Man, we call ourselves man, means mind. And the word mind is same as man. But we also are called human beings. We are not human minds. Human being is much more accurate. Human means actually the body. It means humus. It means mud. It means earth. And being, whatever that means, you can only enter it and you find out. And if you want to travel a little deeper, you even find out what non-beingness is. But this is already enough to start with the mud and with beingness. And understanding, I don't understand myself at all. I don't understand existence at all. I even don't try it. I gave it up completely. That's also a freedom. I know whatever I can say about it is not what it is. So I am not anymore deluded by verbalization. Satsang is a non-verbal exchange of energy, of love. And the words that are being used is actually a kind of device to attract your attention. Because when you are listening to this, your attention is here. And you do not only get the words, but you get the energy, you get the emptiness from where the words arises. And so the understanding can be completely skipped. And there is something much deeper and wiser than understanding. And that's also so much more joyful, so much more adventurous, so much more surprising. And really, if you are really, you experience beauty, you experience wonderful music, and you were enveloped by it and deeply enchanted by it, and you start analyzing it, it's immediately destroyed and spoiled. And you can do that. You can learn. You can really. You hear the music, and one can learn technically what instruments they use and what's the brand name of the saxophone, etc., etc. You don't hear the music, and then maybe you're talented and you speak from here, or you write from here, or you dance from here, or you simply cook from here. That's so wonderful. And you feel always, without thinking about it, I am one with existence. That's your life. And what is existence? That's an incredible mystery. But the mystery is not abstract. You are part of the mystery. You are in it. You are it. And it is the mind who is curious, who say like, hey, can you explain this? And even when you can explain, where do you hear it? You hear it again in the mindset. But if you hear this in your totality, when you listen to satsang with your feet, with your knees, with your pelvis, with your belly, that's so different. And when that everything hears it, then you are everything, and you are in communion with all the different expressions of life, and you see the essence of it, the oneness of it. And you know this is impossible to explain this all. And it's also not interesting to explain it. You know, it's like you drink the best nectar and you want to know the chemistry of it, the molecules. Just drink it, enjoy it, Feel the effect of it. Anything from you, Niels?
Yeah, beautiful. Well, what's so interesting about that experience or that feeling, that I maybe feel it the most in the very simple things, in the very small interactions with maybe unknown people, or for instance, when I call a help desk and a service desk and I talk with someone I don't know, and that sort of presence that exists there is so beautiful. It's so different from what I experienced like before, and it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's just so so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So it is
yeah,
in the obvious. It is not like in a special
yeah,
effect. It can be in the most simple, in a gesture, a look, the voice of someone. It is not this what we are here for, coming together for is not for something special or something, but it is something very common. Spirituality is intimacy, and that you can experience with, of course, with the most obvious and common things.
yeah,
And that's so beautiful. I agree. That's beautiful. I love
yeah,
it too.
yeah,
And now that
yeah,
is taking place in your life. That's wonderful. It means doors are opening. Doors in your heart are opening. Just can happen. Usually it happens spontaneously. It doesn't happen by effort or. But the more you are enveloped in this energy, the energy of being here, the energy of love, it opens more and more of your system. And it opens the body, it opens the mind, it opens the being. All windows are open. And that's so wonderful. We are not locked up anymore. And then you see that the beauty is everywhere because the beauty actually is in you. And when you are closed, you don't experience the beauty. And when you are open, the beauty is everywhere. It's not because the sun is beautiful or another object is beautiful. No, the beauty is in you. And the beauty is there when we are clean. When we are full of rubbish, we experience, of course, the rubbish. And when we clean it, then we experience beauty. But that's actually our natural condition. Beauty is not a cultivated thing. It is our nature. And when our nature is covered up by crap, we don't experience it. We say there is no beauty at all. Because that's what you experience. Because there is crap, there's garbage, there's burden. So beauty is one of the aspects one experiences when you are free, free of the mind. In the most common things, I completely agree with you. It's in the obvious. Okay, I see there are other people that wish to share here. I see Ram wishes to share. Hey, Ram.
Hi, Naropa.
Hey.
What I want to share is that there is recently so much sadness. At the beginning of this lockdown, I was there was so much joy about what was going on. The love of the people in Italy when they were singing and stuff like this, and when we were talking about the Parivatan, I kind of connected it with the idea that now kind of paradise is coming. And now there is so much, in Germany at least, there is so much hate speech and so much fight. Yeah, it's worse than before. And then I sometimes go early morning to the nature, and then it happens that I remember what you said, not that it is not that it will be good, but it is good, all is good. And then I have an understanding beyond, and then there is peace. But again and again, there is a kind of wish that it manifests in the world. And I'm so sad that also a lot of friends of mine, they share so stupid things. Yesterday I was really irritated that in our biological food source there was a newspaper saying we live in a terror regime just because we ought to wear this Mondkapjes. And I kind of feel that I have to react also because of my past, that I feel ashamed so much about how I was in my political times, that I was about the same, sharing so much hate and distrust. And yeah, I live in this discrepancy.
Yeah. So be careful what you nourish yourself with, Ram, because if you watch too much news, when you overdose yourself with media, you might that vibration of fear, or as you say, hatred, might enter you. So really, if you are critical or you follow news, that's completely fine. But if you see that it affects you in this way, it's not really helpful or beneficial. And it's not like that. First you think like, wow, Parivartan starts, hallelujah. And now, a couple of weeks later, you think like it's even worse. And I know this kind of strong perceptions from you. I remember when Mr. Donald Trump was elected, your reaction was, the Third World War starts. And it's not like that. That is all taking place in your thinking machine, of course. And heaven and hell, that's inside of you. We spoke about it with Barbara, that the hell is in you or the paradise is in you. And when you are in walking in nature and you remember, just remember, all is well. And it's not even something you say, but really you see, all is well. Then you look with a completely different eye than when you watch the news and the hatred and in the suspicion and the fighting. It is so. Ram, human beings, they have a lot of hatred, violence, war. I mean, war is one of the most constant things in life. So many wars are going on. And then we have a few years of a break, and then there's a new one coming. But actually, if you look closer, wars are happening constantly between people, families, neighbors, villages, countries, ethnic groups, political groups. And then war is happening inside of us. We fight against ourselves. We don't like things. We want things different. It's, no one is relaxed with what he is. And no one is what he is. If you are what you are relaxed. Certainly. But because one is not what he is not relaxed. You are tensed. And then you can blame others or yourself. So I say this over and over again, and I say it because I have also been activist. I have also been fighting against society. And I found out that the source of my discontent is in me. And I didn't blame my parents, my society, or anyone for it. I just looked into it, deep as possible. And I understood and I saw the alternative. I saw empty masters. They did their homework. They came home. They dedicated their life to realization, to self-love, to freedom. And fortunately, I recognized that, took full responsibility, stopped all the nonsense, and it worked. It worked really fast. The truth is so strong, so much stronger than all kinds of political or ideologies. So I committed to that, and I'm not a man keeping my eyes closed for injustice or all troubles. Actually, I have been really always connected with people that are oppressed, are victims of war, victims of rape, victims of torture. So I have always been really deeply surrounded and connected with people that are kind of victims of this competitive and selfish, egocentric society. Yeah? But I didn't blame the rich or others for that. No, I went to the root of it. So Parivartan is not like now suddenly out of the blue it's not anymore a Maitreya that comes to rescue us or a Messias. Now it is the Corona or it is the Parivartan. No, it's not cheap. There is this support and there is an energy stronger than ever, but that polarizes everything. So these people that are shouting and accusing others and fighting, they have that energy already for so long. All not ready or not being well informed about the fact that they can work upon themselves. They can enter themselves and see the root of their anger, the root of their hatred. And they think the system needs to be changed. I mean, there are still fossils in this world that think that the system needs to be changed. We have had everything for so long. We had so many messiahs and new religions and new hope and new messiahs, and now still. In India they are waiting for Kalki that comes to liberate, and the Buddhists wait for Maitreya, And the Christians used to wait for the messiahs, and the thing is, whenever they come, they don't recognize them, and there are always many of them around. And now too, there are some fools in India, as they say, they are Kalki. You always have them. No, it's up to you, Ram. You can enter your heart, there is paradise. You can eliminate your poisons. No one else will do it for you. No one else. There's support, a lot of support. Corona is supporting you. So you can you can see how can this situation serve me and others. How can we all grow from that? We can eat biological food, but you will not become free from yourself. And still, you can have these kind of ideologies, but don't think that it liberates yourself by changing your diet. It's not going like that. But if you listen too much to whatever you hear on TV or in other media, it affects you. Then you better listen every day to a wonderful satsang of Osho, or you read wonderful book of Ramdas, or you read I Am Dead from Nisargadatta, or you just meditate, or Gayatri, or you just do your job. You be with your wife, and you just be there in a moment. The lockdown is in you. That's the problem. Everyone is already for so long in this lockdown. The heart is locked. That's the problem. And even if in a couple of weeks or months or years, we can do again what we have been doing already for centuries, everyone happy, everyone gets drunk. No, that's not a thing. It doesn't work. Unlock yourself. And then you will not become heavy. And the heaviness that you find in you is just, most of it is collective around. It's not even so personal, it's just collective. There's a lot of heaviness in human beings. And that's actually the whole joke, and it is a painful joke. Human beings don't know that they can be the most ecstatic creatures on this planet. We have that nervous system for it. Animals are often not much more than content. They can have their joys, where we spoke of, but they don't have the Buddha bliss. That's quite rare with animals. They are very content and natural, and they are not living in a lockdown. If you would tell them, they would laugh at you. Tell the cows that they are in the lockdown. And even the cows don't live natural. And still, they are more graceful than most of the human beings. They are not frustrated. They don't kill each other. They are killed by us. And so if you can look at these things and listen, and it doesn't affect you so much, then okay, if that is your... If you feel like you want to know all these things, but if it really makes you sour or heavy, like in your case, why you do that to yourself? Play flute. Then you are more beneficial. Hey, Krishna, playing flute. even when the Mahabharata is at stake. Playing flute, Shiva dancing, world on fire. Buddha completely relaxed. Well, everything takes place. Ugly things take place constantly, and we are full of beauty and love. And maybe when your friends see one day that it is so successful in you, they see that you have become so shining, radiant, they might inquire. They might first say, "What kind of drugs did you take, Ram?" You say, no. This is the nectar that's here in my being. And maybe there's one interested, who knows? They rather ridicule you. That's usually the faith of people like that. But sometimes someone is interested and you can tell them you are full of nectar and full of shit. And that shit can all become nectar. But you have to face the shit. And we know shit is fertile. It's the best fertilizer. Yeah, it is a good fertilizer, you know. But if we project it on a society or 5G or anything else, Donald Trump, it doesn't help. Really doesn't help. So my heart is unlocked. No one can bring it in a lockdown. And if I'm not allowed to go out, or if I need a mouth protector, whatever, it doesn't matter. So unimportant to me. Has nothing to do with freedom. Freedom is inner freedom, free from the me. That's freedom. And if your political friends are a little bit intelligent, they see it. It's so easy. This is not so difficult to see that. This message has been there for 10,000 years. All the wise men share this. It's amazed that they don't get it. But that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is you get it. And if we don't hear the message of existence, we quarrel more and more, and we create more wars, and we see everywhere enemies.
Yeah, I would just like to add, it's more about this really close friends. And even with Sita, we come suddenly, Sita, who is such a heartful person, suddenly speaks about the most terrible things that are going on with his, she's such an anti-vaxxer, and she is so in distrust what is going on with his vaccinations. And I was just in this love, what I shared recently, that I understood that our Mrs. Merkel, acted out of love, that I could see the love when in her speech, and that she was really doing her best. And I was so in my heart realizing that, and that everyone just doesn't know what is going on and is doing his best. And I was so shocked that the closest friends around me just perceive it completely different, and that obviously my shining is not that I don't, that I'm not radiating enough to convince them.
Don't worry about that. You know, when Christ was on the earth, there were just a handful of people that saw his beauty and his radiance. So that doesn't say anything. It probably says that your friends are not so smart. They have no existential intelligence.
Yeah, thank you. I will tell them.
Yeah, let them listen to me and let's see what they see in me. They must see a lot of crap in me.
You know, the beauty is that for the first time, some of our friends come for your satsang, and that we, from our meditation group, and that we can share with them now about what we share with you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think this person wrote me already. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I also give you vaccinations. But this is not again something, I love it. That's what Bhai Sahib said. Huh? I infuse you. I don't give it to you, he says, because it can't be given. But he said, I infuse the people, drop by drop. Yeah. And I can't really see that there's an action coming, that I do something. Whatever comes forward from here, it happens and it comes by itself. Like when we spoke with Mart in the beginning, that it is not like I give something and I feel good or bad about it. This shares itself. Period. Not feeling like I have to do this or I'm a great guy that I'm doing it. Just simply, this shares itself. I can't help it. Sorry for that. It's actually unmotivated, It's just like natural. Like every morning I hear the birds singing and maybe they are calling for a partner. But it's actually, it's so natural. It's like their instinct that make them doing that. Yeah. And this is how I perceive life, that I'm not choosing things, I'm not rejecting things, I'm not feeling better than others, and all these things. I have no role, I'm free from what I said in the beginning, I'm free from gurus, and I'm also free from anti-gurus. I'm free. And it lives and it sings, and when Corona comes, nothing changes at all in me as I am. Lots changes around me and how people, of course, and energy is changing, and of course, it's all there. And I live in both worlds. I live in the unchanging world, but I also live in the world of form where everything changes permanently. And I'm not fighting with that. Yeah. But all these things taking place. I'm not fighting if I'm not able to come to Czech Republic. I'm not fighting with the tax office, no matter what they do with me. All these things, they take place. But this, what you was touching, Ram, all is well, is such a deep view. It's not something you say to yourself. No, if you see that all is perfect and well, and that's the perception. And it even is so huge, it's so vast, that it doesn't exclude being critical. It doesn't exclude anything at all. Okay, it excludes identification. It excludes that you fight for a way so much that you come into hatred and killing people. Yeah, it excludes this kind of things, certainly. And so parivartan is not a shift in the energy just smoothly. It's not like that. It would go smoothly if all the people on the planet would go inside and take responsibility for what is here in them and start cleaning it and start experiencing their true being. Of course, you get a radical change, incredibly. But that's not how things will go now. And so it's a time. Parivartan goes with chaos, with a lot of pain and trouble. Not as a punishment. There is no one here to punish. There is no God who is angry and punishing us. But there's intelligence in existence that speaks through us, and that is stronger than we humans. That is one of these arrogant ideas of human beings, that they are the most powerful in this universe. And they are dust. They are so tiny. Just such a tiny bit of consciousness. Not even a drop. And they brag. No, if we learn the art of surrender, then all the casualties and all the sufferings will cease. But man is blind and man is incredible stubborn. And that's the enemy in you, that's the devil in us. Your own stubbornness, your own blindness, one's own egocentrism, your own idea that what I'm saying is good, or in the group, our group is the best, the others are deluded. All that kind of perceptions creates wars, enemies. So come to that perception, all is well, not by the mind. All is well. Ask it the flowers, they tell you. Ask it the trees, they tell you. Even when the trees are ill, because of our pollution, still they surrender to that. So we can move to krimpen aan de lek. Amazing.
Yeah. Yes. I have to tune the guitar.
Okay.
Drop down to the mud. You're gonna sing about the mud and the lotus.
Okay. And everyone can tune himself or herself too. You know, when we are a bit out of tune, tune yourself. Meditation is tuning yourself again. So thank you all so much for being in satsang tonight. So namaste.